Have you ever felt a strange sense of déjà vu in your relationships? A pattern so familiar you could almost predict the next line? Sabrina Carpenter's latest hit, Manchild, has captured the world's attention not just because it's a catchy summer anthem, but because it voices a frustration that is deeply, almost uncomfortably, familiar to many. The song, with its witty jabs and exhausted plea to let an innocent woman be, could easily be dismissed as just another breakup track. But what if it's more than that? What if this song isn't the trial of a single person, but the symptom of a much deeper, more complex human pattern? A pattern that, far from being about a battle between men and women, is actually about our collective and often troubled relationship with adulthood itself. This isn't a story about blame. This is a story about why some people seem to be caught in a state of perpetual potential and why we can't seem to look away. The term man-child is, of course, loaded. It's a label, and labels are inherently limiting. But beneath the pop culture surface of this word lies a psychological archetype that has been observed for centuries, the Puer Aeternus, Latin for the eternal boy. First explored in depth by the Swiss psychologist Carl Jung, this isn't a diagnosis, but a description of a mindset, one that resists the boundaries, responsibilities, and commitments of adult life. It's the spirit that wants to live in the realm of infinite possibility, never wanting to tie itself down to a single, concrete reality. The lyrics in Carpenter's song paint a vivid picture of this dynamic. Lines like, "If I'm not there, it won't get done," speak to a profound sense of exhaustion from carrying the weight of responsibility for two. This isn't just about someone who forgets to take out the trash. It points to a deeper pattern of dependency, where one person in a relationship is placed in a quasi-parental role. But the most fascinating part of this exploration isn't in listing the behaviors, it's in asking why they exist. The easy answer is laziness or selfishness. The more difficult and more compassionate answer is that it often stems from fear, a profound, paralyzing fear of failure. Think about it. As long as you exist in a state of pure potential, you can never truly fail. The novel you're going to write is always a masterpiece. The career you're about to start is always brilliant. But the moment you commit, the moment you put pen to paper or accept the job, that perfect dream is forced to confront the messy, imperfect, and often disappointing nature of reality. For the eternal boy archetype, this confrontation feels less like a challenge and more like a death. It's the death of infinite possibilities. So, they retreat. They stay in the dream. Where does this reluctance to land come from? The roots are often deep in our earliest experiences. Sometimes it can emerge from a childhood of overprotection, where every obstacle was removed and every failure cushioned by a well-meaning parent. A child who never learns to face resistance or process discomfort may grow into an adult who finds the normal friction of life unbearable. Paradoxically, the same pattern can arise from the opposite experience: emotional neglect. A child who feels unseen or emotionally abandoned might retreat into a rich inner world of fantasy. That fantasy becomes a shelter, a safe place where they are in control. As an adult, leaving that shelter to engage with a world that once felt cold or unresponsive can be terrifying. So they continue to build worlds in their mind, while struggling to build a life in reality. This isn't about blaming parents. It's about recognizing that our first relationships create the blueprint for how we relate to the world. Whether we see it as a place of opportunity to be engaged with, or a threat to be avoided. Now, it's crucial to understand that this is not an exclusively male phenomenon. The underlying psychological principles, the fear of being pinned down, the retreat into fantasy, the avoidance of responsibility can manifest in anyone. The song is called Manchild, and it reflects a specific common female experience, But the conversation is much broader, and it takes two to create a dynamic. The concept of the Wendy Dilemma, first published after the book on Peter Pan syndrome, explores the other side of this coin. It describes the person who, often with the best of intentions, becomes the caretaker, the one who enables the avoidance, who picks up the slack, who organizes the life of the eternal boy. This brings us to one of Carpenter's most self-aware and poignant lyrics. "I swear they choose me. I'm not choosing them." This line is a masterclass in expressing the frustration and confusion of finding yourself in the same relational pattern over and over. It speaks to that magnetic pull where a highly responsible person and a responsibility-avoidant person find a strange, unsustainable equilibrium. One person gets to feel needed, and the other gets to be cared for. For a time, it works, but it's a fragile piece because it prevents both individuals from truly growing. The caretaker becomes exhausted, and the one being cared for remains stagnant. So, what does Sabrina Carpenter's song, this glittery, synth-pop vessel of frustration, really tell us? It tells us that we are collectively hungry for a conversation about what it means to grow up. It's a mirror reflecting our own anxieties about adulthood. In a world where the traditional markers of maturity, a stable career, homeownership, a linear life path feel increasingly out of reach for many, it's no wonder that a state of extended adolescence has become a cultural norm. The song is not a declaration of war. In fact, Sabrina herself described it as the embodiment of a loving eye roll. It's not a cry of hatred, but a sigh of exhaustion. It's the sound of someone realizing they cannot want growth for another person more than that person wants it for themselves. The ultimate journey for anyone wrestling with the Puer Aeternus within is not to kill the inner child, that part of us that is spontaneous, creative, and full of wonder. The goal is to integrate it. It's about teaching the part of you that dreams how to build. It's about understanding that freedom isn't the absence of commitment, but the power to consciously choose it. It's the slow, unglamorous, and deeply courageous process of trading the perfect fantasy for a good, imperfect life. And perhaps that's the real reason a song like Manchild resonates so deeply. It's not because we want to point fingers. It's because, in our own ways, we all understand the terror and the beauty of that choice. The choice to land, the choice to build, the choice to grow.